Okay, so on this chapter 24 of Ross, chapter 24, so let me jot that down here. So this is from Ross 24. This handout is actually not from Ross 24. This is my handout, but it goes with Ross chapter 24. We're going to be looking at adding pronominal suffixes to active verb forms where the pronominal suffix is actually the direct object of the verb. Let me go down here and explain to you what I mean here, okay? So we've been learning how to say things like this. Let's say Moshe Pakad appointed David. Okay? So that's Moshe appointed David. Now what if I want to say Moses appointed him? Moses appointed him. How do I do that? Well, one of the things that I've learned how to do is I've learned to take the direct object marker, et, and to add a pronominal suffix to it. And so otho is what I get. Moshe pakad David, Moses appointed David. Moshe pakad otho, Moses appointed him. Okay? So that's been the way to make a pronominal suffix the direct object, is to attach it to the sign of the accusative. Now what we're going to learn in this chapter is how to say Moses appointed him by adding the pronominal suffix directly to the verb's ending and not adding it to the direct object marker. So we could actually do it either way. So how would that look? It would be Moshe, and then I take the perfect pakad, okay, and then I could add the holem vav here directly to pakad, and I'm going to have some vowel changes that occur. We're going to walk through those in just a minute, but that's what it would look like. Moshe pakado, and that would be translated the same way. Moses appointed him. Okay? So this is what we're learning in the chapter, how to add pronominal suffixes as direct objects immediately to the verb with no direct object marker. It's much more efficient to do it that way. I'm not going to say it's easier to do it that way because there's vowel changes that happen, but you can do it and sort of skip a step. Okay? So let's talk about how we do it. The first thing we need to know is which pronoun suffixes are used for this sort of thing. What I've done on this handout is I've given you the pronominal suffixes that we normally find attached to our nouns. And I'm doing this as a way of reminding you that the pronominal suffixes that'll attach directly to verbs as direct object pronouns are really all the same pronouns for the most part you've already seen. Okay? So let's just review this. Look at the 3ms pronoun for his when I attach it to nouns. Okay? If I have one horse and I want to say his one horse, it's suso. So you've seen the holem vav here. If I want to refer to his horses, plural, then you've seen the vav attached after the yod. So I could have holem vav, or I could just have a vav by itself as a consonant. And when we wanted to say his father, we saw aviv, his one father, or avihu, an alternate form of the 3ms pronoun, which looks very much like the third masculine singular independent pronoun hu. So avihu, his father. All right. Now, let's just slide over and take a look at the pronominal suffixes attached to verbs. My forms of the pronominal suffixes, I've got a slight variations here, but they're all relatively identifiable. If I'm attaching this to a verb in the perfect, I could see him, like I killed him. It could be who, or it could be a vav, a holem vav, or a shurik. So all of those are ways to see the pronoun him attached to a perfect verb. And then if I'm using an imperfect conjugation verb, something like I will kill him, I could see ehu or enu where the anu actually stands for ainhu, and the he syncopates. So either way, you've seen both of these as well. Memenu is from him. So that's the 3ms pronoun you've also seen with that extra noon there. Okay, now let's go back over here and look at the third feminine singular pronouns. When I want to say her horse, on a noun, it's susa, where I have a he with a mapik in it. That's a real he. Her horses, suseha, where we've seen the ha ending for third feminine singular. Her father, aviha, so he's and has mark third feminine singular. And if we look at the direct object pronouns for saying things like I killed her and I will kill her, boy, that just sounds terrible, doesn't it? It's ha, ah, with a mapik, or ah, okay, without the mapik. Or I could have eha, or ainna, which is standing for ain ha, where the ha, the he, syncopated and disappeared. All right? Again, my point is just to show you that you have seen all of these pronouns before. They're going to reappear on the verb as a direct object. Let's look at the ways to add the pronominal suffix for you, masculine and feminine singular. We have ka and k with the silent shava. Susaha, your horse, if you're a man. Suseich, your horse, if you're a woman. If my noun is plural, susecha and susayech, my pronouns are still the same, ka and k. Your father, avicha and avich, male and female, same pronoun. And wonder of wonders, the pronouns are the same over here if I'm attaching them as direct object pronouns. I killed you, man, and I killed you, woman, is ka and k. And if it's I will kill you, it's aha and eich. For the form with the extra noon, you can't see it. This is a problem with my word processor, but there is actually a dagesh forte in that kaf. You can barely see it right above the kametz here. Okay? So that's an extra noon that's assimilated. Now let's go back over here for the first common singular pronoun. My horse, susi. My horses, susai. My father, avi. These all have the yods. When I want to attach the first common singular pronoun as a direct object, he killed me. It's not just e, but ni. I have a noon plus a Keurig yod. We have seen that as well in the past. Imperfect ani with the ni ending. And then this right side of the imperfect conjugations, direct object pronouns, these all have an extra noon. This is called the energic noon. I'll go ahead and write that down. Energic noon. That extra noon does not change the translation at all. It's just an extra noon that comes right before the pronoun. Okay, so ein ni. He will kill me. Over here, looking at our third person pronouns for their horse, male and female, susam and susan, the mem and noon difference. Plural nouns, susehem, susehen, so hem and hen. Again, the only difference there is mem versus the noon. Their father, avihem. And if the they is female, avihen, hem and hen. And over here, we have, as the direct object pronouns, the mem and the noon. Okay? So those are going to be identifiable pronouns as well. For y'all's things attached to nouns, kem and ken. Susechem, susechen, kem, ken. Y'all's horses, susechem, susechen, have kem and ken again. Y'all's father, avichem, avichen. So kem, ken. And then for the direct object pronoun, I have kem attached to perfect verbs, kem to imperfect verbs. There's no energic noon form, and there's no second feminine plural forms because they don't occur in the Hebrew Bible. And then finally, to say our horse, we're adding nu as our pronoun, susenu. Our horses, susenu with the yod before. Our father, avinu, so it's nu, nu, nu. And guess what? There's nothing new here. To say they killed us, they killed nu. And with the imperfect, enu and enu, the only difference here being I have the extra nun in that second form for the imperfect. Okay, so the chart here is not meant to create despair in you. Rather, it's meant to encourage you that if you're just trying to parse, for the most part, you can identify the direct object pronominal suffixes that you're going to see attached to these verbs. All right? We're basically using the same pronouns. Now, let's take a look at what we do when we want to add pronominal suffixes as direct objects to the perfect conjugation. To the perfect conjugation, and that's our next handout here. Okay, you should have this handout in front of you. When we want to add a direct object pronoun suffix to a perfect conjugation verb, there are going to be 3 steps. Okay? Here's the first step. Change the ending if applicable. Okay? This is exactly the same steps for adding pronominal suffixes to the nouns. When we add pronominal suffixes to nouns, we have to do the same thing. If there's an ending that needs to change, then we'll change it. That should be if applicable. Okay? So change the ending if applicable. And we're going to look at what the applicable changes are here in just a moment. Number 2, then you add the direct object pronominal suffix. All right? And then number 3, you change, I'm using the math symbol for change, sorry. Change vowel points as needed. You're saying, well, Dr. Marshall, I don't need to. Let's skip that step. Yeah, I know. That's okay. All right, so change the ending. Now, since we're dealing with perfect conjugation verbs, the endings we're talking about are the personal endings. We have some personal endings of the perfect conjugation that will undergo some slight changes before I can add the direct object pronominal suffix. And then there will be some vowel changes that may happen as a result. Okay? So here's the first thing to do is to look at how the perfect conjugation will change its personal endings. What will the personal endings become? Well, let's take a look here at the handout. Pakad is my Cal Perfect 3MS form. Is there an ending on the 3MS perfect? No. The ending is 0. So guess what? Do I have to change an ending? Nope. Glory be. All right. The 3FS form of the Cal Perfect is normally pakada with a comma te. Is that hey on pakada a real hey? No, it's a mater. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to change a to at. So I'm going to get pakadat. Now you've seen that kind of a change before, haven't you? Susa, a female horse, becomes susat before I can add a pronominal suffix to it. Okay? So this is not unusual, but I am going to go ahead and highlight this so that you recognize that that is where a change happens. The 2MS for pakad is pakadta. Pakadta. Notice that I don't really see any change here, although it is possible for that long A to change to a short A, and I could get pakadta with a pathak, okay? So let me just highlight that vowel. That's the only change there. The 2FS, what's the normal 2FS personal ending? It's pakad t, a tav with the silent shiva. Look at what it becomes when I add a pronominal suffix to it. It becomes pakad t. Now, I've got a problem here, don't I? because that now looks like what? It looks like the first common singular perfect ending, which is pakadti with no change. So pakadti, I appointed, doesn't change. So if I wanted to say I appointed him, I'm going to use pakadti. But if I want to say, hey, you woman appointed him, pakat is going to change to pakadti before I add the direct object pronoun. Okay? So you're going to have to pay attention to your context and look for what the subject is of the verb. Now look at third common plural. Pakadu has a shurik ending, and notice that the shurik is still here, so I don't need to change any endings there. That's good. Pakadtem and pakadten are the two MP normal endings, tem and ten. Look at what they become. They both become the same thing. They become two. Okay, so that is a change. Pakadtu is going to be y'all did something. And then pakadnu is my normal CalPerfect 1CP form, and the new ending is still here for the form of pakadnu when I add the direct object pronominal suffixes. So where are all my changes? All my changes are here. Okay, the second person forms, and then that third feminine singular. Okay? The top line does not change. The bottom line does not change. But everything in the middle can have a change. And actually, this 2MS doesn't change here. That stays. Okay, so it's really only one slight variation in the 2MS form. All right, so that's what we're going to add our direct object pronominal suffixes to. That's the first step. Step one, change the ending if applicable. Okay? Now, the second thing we have to do then is add the pronominal suffix. So let's take a verb like pakad, and let's add a pronominal suffix to it. Pakad means he appointed. So I'll just do pakad here. Now I'm going to add my pronominal suffix directly to this. And what are the pronominal suffixes that I could use here? So we'll add the third masculine plural direct object pronoun. So I'm going to add a mem here. Okay. Now I'm left with pakad. What's going to have to happen here? Can I just leave it like that? Pakadn? Ah, I do. I need a vowel, don't I? I need a vowel. And what are going to be my vowels here? What I'm going to do is I am going to add a kametz here. So it's going to be a pakadam, okay? And I want you to go to page 174, and you're going to see what the vowels are that will get you from the end of the verb to the pronominal suffix here. Okay? If you look at the first column, 3MS, he visited, which is what we've got, pakad, and you go down to the them pronominal suffix, there you see the here. So I've got an A-class vowel that's connecting this. Okay? So I've added the pronominal suffix. What is number 3 step? Vowel changes. What sort of vowel changes am I going to see here? We go back up to our list. Change the vowels as needed. So in the perfect conjugation, okay, the vowel changes are going to follow noun reduction pattern. What is the noun reduction pattern? Here's what we learned about nouns. Open pretonic syllables have to be long, and open proprotonic syllables have to go to what? Vocal shava. Okay? So that's what we learned about nouns. If my syllable's open and pretonic, it's going to go long. Open propertonics will reduce the vocal schwa. What do verbs do when their syllable becomes open and pretonic? Yes, verbs reduce their newly open pretonic syllables to vocal schwa, okay? So we're not going to do what verbs do here. This is a little bizarre, but just realize what we're doing is we're applying the noun reduction pattern to this. So when I add the ending, this now becomes tonic over here, dam. Pa-ka, that becomes open and pretonic, and the pa becomes open and propertonic. And if we're going to now vocalize this the way nouns vocalize, the open pretonic syllable has to become what? It has to be long. And the open propertonic syllable has to go to vocal schwa. Okay? So this becomes pa-ka-dam. Pa-ka-dam. All right? Now, I know those vowels aren't very nice. That's not helpful to us because we are often relying on the root one vowel to know what we're looking at, okay? So this is going to be another situation where a vocal schwa will show up, and then we have to ask ourselves, vocal schwas with root one could be the imperative, they could be the infinitive construct, but now we're going to see that they could be the perfect with a direct object pronoun suffix attached, okay? So we're going to have to keep our eye on that. You got to look at the end. So pukadam is he appointed, 3MP pronoun, he appointed them, okay? So that's the formula here. Now, let's do this for the rest of our time here. I'm going to pull up a little worksheet for us to practice on. Before we look at this drill sheet, I want to just encourage you to think about the verb forms you're going to see in terms of slots, okay? I'll just draw some slots here. Boy, I had to really work on my line drawing here. The first slot, as we're moving from right to left, is going to be the verb root, okay? So verb root. This is for perfect verbs. The second slot is going to be personal endings. The third slot is going to be direct object, okay? So when I have a perfect verb, the perfect verb will have 3 root letters. It's going to have any personal endings that mark the subject, okay? So that's what the personal endings are going to be. And then the pronominal suffix will be here. Actually, I wanted to keep the function here on the same line. So I'm going to put direct object, and this will be pronoun suffix. Okay? So verb root, that will give the meaning of the verb. The personal ending will give me the subject, who performs the verb. Third slot will be the pronominal suffix, and that's who is being affected by the verb. So let me real quickly just draw your attention to this drill sheet. And you're going to be working on this at home, but I want to just walk through a couple of real quick examples here. So look at Shema Anu. That's number 1. Do you see the 3 root letters? Shema? That's slot number 1. What am I left with? I'm left with nu. So this could be one of 2 things. This is either my verb root, and that's my personal ending, or this is my verb root, and I have no ending, and then this is my direct object pronoun. Okay, in other words, slot number 2 might be 0, and slot number 3 may be the first common plural suffix. How will I know? Well, I want to look at the vowel pointing here. If this were the CalPerfect 1CP, it would be sha, ma, nu, for we heard. Okay? Do I have that vowel pointing over here? No, I don't. So I've got some funky vowel pointing, which tells me that this is a perfect verb with pronominal suffix attached directly and vowel changes that have happened. So my 0 ending is which ending in the perfect? It's 3ms. Okay? So this is the cal perfect 3ms plus a direct object pronoun, 1cp suffix. Okay? And the verb is shema. So how would I translate this? The subject is he. He, shamad, heard. What did he hear? First common plural. He heard us. Okay? So he heard us. All right. Let me just work through number 2 with you real quickly here, and we'll be done. Okay, look at this next verb. It's bahan tihu. Okay, bahan is one of our new verbs in this chapter. Bet, het, nu. That means to try or to examine. Okay, there's my roots. That's first slot. T is my second slot. Who is my third slot. This is the personal ending. This is the pronominal suffix. This tells me the subject. This tells me the direct object. So this is the perfect of bahan with T. So it's I tried or tested or examined. And who did I examine? Which pronoun is who? Yeah, that's 3ms. Okay, so the T is 1cs for the subject. Who is 3ms? So I tried or tested him. Okay? So you see how we're going to do this when we're parsing. Basically be thinking in terms of 3 slots, your verb root, personal ending, and then the direct object pronoun. Okay? All right. We'll stop there.